Hi, it's Kai, and today, in honor of the Sephora VIB sale starting very soon, aka this week, or possibly even the day that this is being uploaded, don't know when this is going up yet, but I wanted to go through my personal Sephora purchases and talk trash about them, honestly, or not talk trash about them. This is basically a de-influencing your Sephora cart if I've tried it personally. So I've got everything pulled up on my phone, and we're just going to hop straight into it after I apologize for the gravelly sex phone operator voice. If you know anything about what it's been like in Georgia over the past few days, you know that we have hit a record high pollen count here. And on top of the illnesses that are randomly spreading around, we also are fighting for our lives against the pollen. So I have a little bit of a post-nasal drip that I get when it changes seasons and we have all this pollen out. So again, the voice, you like it, you can keep it to yourself. If you don't like it, you can also keep it to yourself. But let's just hop into the video. So I actually have not been to Sephora this year since January, which I think is pretty good for someone who used to go into Sephora or buy things on Sephora.com like every month, multiple times a month. I feel like I've definitely gotten my spending and just like my frivolous beauty spending under control. That's something that I'm really proud of. Anyway, I was out of hyaluronic acid. I purchased the Inky List hyaluronic acid, which I think I talked about in my last Empties video because I have emptied that, and it's one that I've repurchased multiple times, so I can't necessarily trash on it. However, if you have a hyaluronic acid serum you're already using, one that you like, or even one that's more expensive from Sephora that you like, during the sale I would recommend getting something that is more expensive because you're getting more bang for your buck, even if you're only getting the 15 or 10%, which this year I actually am not Rouge. I'm only VIB, so the 15% tier. And again, I'm not necessarily mad at it, though my sisters were one of my sisters was a little testy about it. But again, with the Inky List one being only $10, I don't feel like it's one that you necessarily is like a have to buy during the sale. I feel like $10, even 20% off of 10 is $2, so $8. Again, you're saving money, but it's only maybe a little bit more than what the average sales tax rate comes out to if you're in a state that has sales tax. I haven't personally tried Versace Eros Flame, but that's something that my sister bought. She actually tried that through Scentbird first, I believe. So she upgraded from the Scentbird vial to the bigger bottle. So I assume she likes that, but again, I can't necessarily make a judgment off of that. Another thing that she's repurchased a lot personally, but has recently switched to something else that I think she likes better, the Fenty Beauty Plush Pudding Intensive Recovering Lip Mask. She always really liked those. Again, that's not something that I've tried personally, but recently she has been trying the Laneige ones, and I, again, have not tried the Laneige, so she's been trying those, and she said that it's the truth. So that's her overall review of it. And then there is the topicals, I almost said tropicals, the Topical Slick Salve Glossy Balm, and I actually got the duo pack that was available during the holidays. It's no longer available. I hope they come out again. I've said it before with the duo pack, including one clear one and one of the acai ones. That will probably be what will be the holiday one this year if they don't release something before then. But I like the Topical Slick Salve. It's literally right here in my bed next to me, so that if in the middle of the night I need lip balm, which usually if I'm using this lip balm I don't need to reapply at all, like the next morning I'll still end up with lip balm on my lips. But if I use another lip balm before bed, I've been trying to finish some of the other ones that I've like halfway finished. Some of those just aren't really that good. They're not that hydrating. So I'll sometimes roll over in the middle of the night and put this on. And again, I bought the double pack while they had it. And I think there was also another sale. It's like the one that they do after their fall VIB sale, where I think it's just a holiday type of thing. So it was even cheaper than the $26 that it was. And I have a backup of my favorite lip balm probably for at least another year or so. Another product that my sister really likes, she's raved about it, the Fenty Beauty Cookies and Cream Whipped Clay Intensive Pore and Blackhead Mask. She has been using that, I think, since it was in the tub. There was a moment where I guess they were switching from the tub over to what looks like a squeeze tube type of packaging for it, where she could not find it. She thought it was discontinued. And again, she was a little bit more than upset. She was in my inbox acting like I personally told Rihanna to discontinue it. That is not discontinued. She's happy now. She repurchases it. She, again, really likes it. And my twin sister, who is one of the sisters that uses my Sephora account, she has more acne prone skin growing up. She always had more acne prone skin. So I feel like she definitely uses things that are targeted a little bit more towards that, a little bit more towards excess oil. So I usually go for things that are on the normal to dry skin side, and I only have occasional issues with pimples and acne. So I'm not going on a super anti-acne, regimen, but these are things that she's repurchased if you are looking for more of like a anti-oil cleansing deep pore type of thing. She likes it. There's also the Inkyless Polyhydroxy Acid Gentle Exfoliating Toner. I actually have that and have been using it. I like it. It's a very gentle exfoliating toner. If you have non-sensitive skin, it might be a little bit too gentle for you, or you might feel like, oh, is this even doing anything? And also PHA, from my understanding, is not a exfoliating acid that penetrates the skin pretty deeply. I'm pretty sure it's mostly for like surface blemishes, those little itty bitty pimples or just spots of gunk and stuff like that. Maybe helping with lightening dark spots. I feel like in combination with everything I already use, this works well. I don't notice it causing my skin to be tingly or to make my skin feel sensitized or anything of that nature. Generally like it. I don't think I'm going to need to repurchase it for a while because it's 3.4 fluid ounces, and surprisingly, with how especially liquidy it is, you don't really need a lot of it. Like, a little goes a long way, so I do appreciate that. Another product that unfortunately I cannot trash on, and it's also from the Inkyless, which I appreciate the fact that Sephora, in addition to their in-house line, also is bringing in a few brands that are a little bit on the hi, baby. Hi. That are a little bit on the lower end or more affordable side, but are still good products. The Inkyless is one of my favorite skincare brands, especially from Sephora, and I really like their hydrocolloid invisible pimple patches because in addition to the hydrocolloid, which of course helps suck out the pimple and like bring the whitehead to a head, and that's where you get the marketing materials where you peel it off and the pimple's gone. But it also does have some other acids. I think it's ectoin and succinic acid maybe, but some other exfoliating acids. It might even have salicylic acid as well. So those are also targeting the blemish itself, targeting the pimple. And even if it's one of those that is a little bit deeper, or the ones that I think it's closed comedones, it doesn't come to a whitehead, I can still put these on top of it. And even if it's not, bringing the entire pimple to the surface, I guess, or like scraping off or pulling off the whitehead of the pimple, it does help make the pimple go down. It's, applying an exfoliating acid to it, or like concentrating it there to help the pimple heal quicker. So again, another one that I enjoy. I also have the Fleur Vanilla Skin, the Eau de Parfum Travel Spray, and I really do like Vanilla Skin. Admittedly, I haven't been wearing it a lot lately, now that it's spring especially, and just in general in the new year. I've just wanted some more of my fresher fragrances. I've been going for more of my florals. If I'm going for vanillas, it's like my lighter vanillas, and this isn't a very dense vanilla at all. There definitely are light and fluffy aspects to it, and airy aspects, but it's just very sweet, very vanilla forward. And I think I've just again been taking a little bit of a step back from more vanilla forward fragrances. I also honestly would probably pick up the body spray in retrospect because I don't feel as though, and from what I've heard from other friends in the fragrance talk sphere, I've heard that the body spray, and my experience with the body sprays as well, is that they wear pretty long. They don't wear like, 2 or 3 hours the way that you would think a body spray would. They do have nice longevity and a little bit of a projection, some scent cloud going on. So I think in retrospect, I wouldn't have purchased the travel perfume spray, and I would have just purchased one of the body sprays, probably the smaller body spray, but I would have just purchased that because you get more bang for your buck. It's going to last longer. I feel like I've used the Fleur, a few times. Again, I really do like it, but it feels like I'm already running out of it. And I hate kind of having that feeling because then I feel like I need to conserve it. And I know that's all my own like scarcity insecurities. I know I have plenty of perfume. Even if I finish Vanilla Skin, I have other vanilla perfumes and I could just repurchase Vanilla Skin. But it's still just that when I get to a certain level of a perfume, I start getting into that. I've got to conserve it. It's the same way with Father Figure right now. I literally have like 2 sprays, enough for both wrists and nothing more. And I'm just like, do I go ahead and like repurchase the travel spray? Do I buy the big one during the sale? That's something that I'm still deliberating, honestly. Then there is my older sister's purchase. She purchased the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Waterproof Setting Spray, and admittedly, she gave that to me, and I quite enjoy the Charlotte Tilbury spray. It's very similar to the Milani setting spray, which I also like, but I do feel like it helps my makeup last a little bit longer. I wear a mask when I'm out and about, so sometimes my makeup tends to rub off on the mask, or pretty much all of the time, and I feel like I get the least mask rubbage when I'm using the Charlotte Tilbury versus some of the other setting sprays that I've tried since COVID has existed. However, my older sister did not like it. I'm not quite sure why. She just said it wasn't for her, that she didn't quite like it. So again, she gave it to me. I don't mind it. I think these other 2 products she has purchased multiple times. I can't really attest to much with hair care because as we see, I basically have none. And honestly, after Venus retrograde is over, I've been thinking of kind of Cynthia Erivo just scalping it. Like that's kind of where we're going. I think it would look really cool. Either that or dyeing my eyebrows blonde. But I just kind of want a really bold appeal. Well, not even really bold if I just shave off my head, but like a just difference. I want to try something new with my look. So either way, I don't have a lot of hair. So she has used multiple times the Color Wow Extra Strength Dream Coat, the anti-frizz product. And my older sister, I feel like she has curly hair, but it's definitely almost more of like tight ringlet curls. She would probably be somewhere like on the curl scale, like in the 3s, maybe like a 3B. I don't know. She definitely has like hair where it'll sometimes get frizzy if she like if it dries in a certain way or she lets it air dry and things like that. She says that the Color Wow works really good for her. Another thing that I'm not sure whether it works well or if she's purchased it multiple times. If I see it again, I'll let you guys know. But it's the Olaplex number 6 Bond Smoother Frizz Control Styling Hair Cream. So I wonder if she was just trying something new, but I know she's tried the Color Wow and purchased it multiple times. Another product that I can't necessarily de-influence is the Forever Mood Discovery Set. I think discovery sets are the best way to introduce yourself to new fragrances if you can't smell them in store and spray them on yourself. And even still, I feel like having a sample and trying out the sample a few times so that you can kind of get to know how it really wears with your skin instead of the one time where you went into the store and were overwhelmed by every other perfume smell that's been sprayed in there. I do feel as though samples or starting out with the sample discovery kits, whatever it is the best way to discover fragrances that you like and also think about your budget and like not necessarily contribute as much, I guess, to like hyper consumerism. It's much easier to finish up a sample, even if you have a lot of samples like I do, but it's much easier to finish up a sample or even a travel size than it is to finish up a full size perfume. Either way, I really like the Forever Mood fragrances. I have a whole video talking about them, ranking and reviewing the set. I really enjoy them. I have thought about maybe in the sale purchasing one of the ones that I really enjoy in a full size, but then there's something about it that makes me want to buy all of them. And I feel like I just don't need all of them right now. I don't have a lot of space for perfume, and I definitely need to focus a little bit more on my Project Pan perfumes that I have. I, again, really enjoy those. If it weren't a space and me trying to declutter a little bit more issue, I probably would buy at least 2 of them in the travel sizes. Probably not full sizes yet. I think I like the progression of the sample to a travel size, and then if I finish the travel size, I can deliberate, do I want to repurchase it again at all? Do I want to repurchase the travel size again, or do I want to upgrade to the full size because I feel like this is a fragrance I'll wear and love in the full size? This isn't available anymore, but it's the Juliet Has a Gun Mini Duo Coffret set, and it's basically one of their newer fragrances, and they do this with pretty much all of their newer fragrances, but they put their newer fragrance with the original Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume. And around the time that I purchased this, I think I'd gone into Sephora and smelled the Juliet Has a Gun, which is a peppery cherry but still clean musky fragrance. It's one of my favorite cherries just because it's a very different take and play on cherry. So I really enjoyed that. Wanted the travel size but did not see it in store, and it was like sold out. I didn't want to purchase the full size, so I got the Coffret set, and you know, it was $30, so $15 essentially for each mini size. But I did end up selling the Not a Perfume on my Mercari because once I tried it on my skin again, I remembered why I just never liked it. It is just one of those ambroxan heavy scents, but on my skin it's really plasticky and synthetic instead of having that more like soft, kind of cozy but still molecular smell to it. So I again got rid of that. I still have Juliet, like the little one, but I am getting close to finishing that, and I probably will finish that sometime during the spring and summer this year because I really do like that for spring and summer that I can't necessarily poo-poo on. But again, if you're looking for an ambroxan, like barely there, barely smell anything, my skin but better type of perfume, there are much better ones in my opinion than Juliet Has a Gun. I just, even in their own lineup, there are better fragrances that have that same type of vibe. I actually went with my sister when she purchased this. It's the Haus Labs by Lady Gaga Triclone Skin Tech Medium Coverage Foundation, and she purchased the shade 540 Deep Neutral, which I think she said ended up being a pretty good shade for her. And I remember seeing her and her face just really looked like my face but better. It just really smoothed out her skin tone. She said she really likes it. So editing Kai of the Future, I realized that I have tried out this foundation multiple times. I have a sample of it, I've done videos with it, and because I haven't used it multiple times in a row, I forget about it. But I did, or from what I remember, do like the way that it looks on my skin, and I agree that it very much so looks like a my skin but better type of foundation. It's not too like dewy, but it's also not matte at all. So yeah, I've tried that. I don't know why it always slips my mind that I literally have a sample of that. I'm actually not done with the sample of it that I have, but anyway, back to the regularly scheduled programming. Then I have the 5 Cents Discovery Perfume set, which again, I prefer Discovery sets if you're going to traipse into a new perfume. However, 5 Cents, I like the perfumes, but I feel like they're a little bit of they're too reminiscent of some other fragrances. There's not anything that's truly original or that I haven't smelled anymore. Are they good iterations of those different fragrance categories or of those types of fragrances? Like there's that kind of santal, sandalwoody type of fragrance, and it's good because it's more creamy versus pickly on myself. So it's that type of thing, but it's also the fact that with pretty much every one of them, I can recall a fragrance that smells like it. And it's usually something that I already have in my collection or that I've tried and decided is it something I would repurchase. So as a whole, I like the 5 Cents fragrances. I think it would be a good introduction if you haven't already tried a lot of fragrances. But if you have already tried a lot of fragrances, especially Sephora fragrances or ones in the kind of niche indie category, or not maybe like the indie artisan, but like the niche indie end of things, then I feel like you've smelled a lot of these. Otherwise, I would recommend it. Something I purchased multiple times is the Topicals High Roller Ingrown Hair Tonic. It has AHAs and BHAs. Admittedly, I haven't had to repurchase this much lately because I use it for 2 reasons. Number one is when I was shaving, which I don't really shave, free the bush 2025. So I'm not really shaving anymore and in need of like an ingrown hair tonic for that, but I did use it when I was shaving and it would help cut down on shaving bumps and, you know, ingrowns and stuff like that. But it's also something that I find that when I have had herpes outbreaks, which I have not had one since I left my job, and I feel like that tells you a lot without me having to say much, because of the fact that herpes is somewhat a nervous system, like it is based on your anxiety, your sickness in your body, like things like that definitely impact the manifestation of it. So the fact that that stressor, even though there's other stressors with not working a traditional job, of course, but the fact that those stressors are less than the ones anyway, I haven't really needed to use it for that reason either. It's also good underneath the arms if you want something to kind of help with your underarm bumps as well as smell, because it has the AHAs and BHAs, so it can be used for fighting bacteria odor. Again, a product that is multi-use. I stand by it, but if you're like me and you just don't have a use for it, then, you know, you don't have a use for it. You don't need to buy it just because you want to try it or you think you should. It's, again, a really good product, but unless you need it, not something necessary. Again, these are my sister's purchases, my twin sisters. She purchased the First Aid Beauty 10% vitamin C brightening serum, which I didn't see her repurchase. We're kind of going in reverse sequential order. So from the end of last year to the beginning of last year. And I didn't see her repurchase this product. It's pretty expensive. It's $50. That's, you know, kind of hefty for a vitamin C serum. I don't know if it's just one that she hasn't gotten, you know, a lot of use out of or finished yet. I would assume it's only 1.7 fluid ounces, so the regular size of a serum. If she's using it the, you know, amount of time she should be throughout the week to see effective results, then I feel like she would have repurchased it by this point. She also purchased the Versace Eros Eau de Toilette. She seems to really like the Versace Eros line. I think that's another one that she was able to try through Scentbird. She had the Fenty Beauty by Rihanna Plush Pudding Intensive Recovery Lip Mask. So another one of those. Again, she really liked those and was repurchasing those for a while before learning about the Laneige. One of her faves has also been the First Aid Beauty cleanser. She likes the Pure Skin Face cleanser, and she says it's just really nice. It doesn't make her skin too dry, but it also helps, you know, actually cleanse her skin. And she has literally been buying that since we lived together in undergrad or when I was in grad school, which is now like 5 years ago. She's been purchasing it since before then, so that's truly, truly her favorite. She also purchased the First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Face Moisturizer, which I've known her to repurchase a few times. I feel like she switches through that one and a few other ones. And then I think her girlfriend needed the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Caramel. So I don't really know about that one. I haven't tried much from NARS before personally, but it is something that a lot of people stand by, I guess. It's a pretty popular concealer. Then there's the Brown Girl Jane Discovery Set, which is again a fragrance discovery set. I will echo my previous sentiments. Discovery sets are the best way to try fragrances. Brown Girl Jane's fragrances I feel like are pretty approachable, so I feel like you can't go wrong with them necessarily, and they're pretty unique as well. I can't think of anything that necessarily smells exactly like something else in my collection. I don't love all of them on myself, but I think that the sample kit in general, or the discovery set, is a good investment to kind of get familiar with the brand. There are also the Do Forever eye masks. They're the reusable silicone eye masks, and I really like the idea of the silicone reusable eye masks. I use them. My biggest problem with the Do ones is that I have them in a skincare fridge, but I feel like they never really get cold. Whether I keep the tin open, close the tin, it just doesn't matter. They never have that cooling feeling underneath my eyes, and that's kind of what I wish I was able to get a little bit more of. It's nice for if I put, a heavier moisturizer or even my eye cream or something like that, just really pack that on if I've been crying a lot or just my under eyes in general feel really dry for whatever reason. It's good for that and to really lock in the moisture of those products, but it's not necessarily something I would say that you need. It's kind of one of those things that is just more aesthetic and feel good than actually functional. And not saying that it's not a functional product or that it doesn't work, but it's just not necessary. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely, again, a little bit more of a frivolous self-care, treat yourself type of product. I do like them better than the Pacifica ones. The Pacifica ones just got really dirty and you can never really clean them well. So that was my issue with the Pacifica reusable ones. They were almost like too sticky that like everything, lint, dirt, all of that stuck to it and it just did not get off or wash off very well. There's also the Freck XL, which is out of stock right now. That's crazy. I don't know, me gusta. But I love the Freck Freckle Pen. I've repurchased it multiple times. I've gone back to it multiple times. I would say it's probably my favorite freckle pen, but I have some other ones in the reserves that I need to finish before repurchasing this one. So I know that this year I probably won't repurchase it unless I'm able to speed run through all of the other ones. Plus I still have this one, the XL, like the bigger size. I still have it. It usually lasts over a year for me. So that one's still, again, kicking a little. There's also, again, the Fenty Beauty Cookies and Clean Whipped Clay Mask, which I think was in the pot before, or maybe they're two different masks. I don't know. This is the Whipped Clay Pore Detox Face Mask with salicylic acid. It looks like they're two different products, or maybe they're two different sizes. I'm not really sure. They kind of look like they're the same thing. So I wonder if my sister thought she was getting this one when she repurchased the other one. Not really sure, but she really likes Fenty Beauty skincare and lip care. She purchased another one of the Pure Skin facial cleansers from First Aid Beauty and another facial repair moisturizer, or the Ultra Repair Face Moisturizer. So again, products that she quite likes. She also purchased the YSL Myself Eau de Parfum. Never heard of that. Must be something that she tried through Scentbird. She also purchased the First Aid Beauty Deep Cleanser with Red Clay, which she usually purchases if her skin is getting a little bit more acne inflamed. She'll go for the Ultra Repair, or just the Pure Cleanse, Pure Skin, whatever that, the regular facial cleanser that's a little bit more hydrating and not as stripping. But when she really does need a little bit more oomph, she goes for the Red Clay cleanser. My older sister purchased an ABH Brow Wiz, which we know her. We either love her or hate her. People either still stand by her solemnly, or maybe sovereignly. I don't know what word I was trying to use there. Solidly. But they either stand by her or people have moved on to other products because this has been duped and duped and duped. And we've got a million different eyebrow products. I personally don't really use eyebrow pencil. I just use clear or sometimes tinted gel, but honestly clear is my preferred gel since I kind of like the way that my eyebrows are naturally. Again, it's something that I know my sister has purchased multiple times. She's purchased ABH in general. She doesn't like the old, like the one that was in the pot. She said that was really harsh in her eyebrows, which I feel like, you know, that was kind of the era where everyone's eyebrows were overly harsh. She also purchased the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter powder in the shade Coffee, which is a product that I actually have two of. So it's one of my favorite powders. It's definitely more on the mattifying side. It's not one that I feel like is necessarily a need. Again, I feel like if you have powders that you like, you don't need to purchase another powder. If you like this powder, if you know that you're running low of it, maybe restock. But this also comes with a lot of powder. It's one that I've started, you know, kind of putting in my project pan a little, or like focusing on it a little in my project pan. I don't know whether it's going to be in my project pan permanently, but I have been using it, and a little goes such a long way that I feel like it's another one like the Kat Von D powder that I have been using in my project pan forever. It just feels like it's going to be that situation all over again. And that is technically everything that I purchased in 2024, that me and my sisters purchased in 2024. The next thing in the 12/31/2023, so basically the last day of 2023 or almost the first day of 2024, I purchased the Fleur Mini Mango Mood Hair and Body Spray, which again, same sillage and projection as a perfume would have. It has longevity. Like, you definitely can get away with their body mist and not feel like you're missing out on anything by not having a perfume. And that one smells very similar to Wilhelm Perfumery Mango Skin. So if you like that one, but it's a little bit out of your price range, then try Mango Mood. Or if you've wanted to try that one, but you're just not sure and you can't get a sample of the Wilhelm one, Mango Mood can simulate the idea of that one. They're not, I would say, one-to-one, but they're very, very close. And then it was the first time that I purchased the Topicals Slick Salve, which means that it's lasted, this one's lasted over a year. And again, I've had other, you know, lip balms that I've been trying to finish, so that's why this one has lasted as long as it has, but it is actually very close to being done. I feel like I have, yeah, like this much left in there. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you are or aren't or are trying not to purchase for the Sephora sale. I hope that you're staying safe and healthy wherever you are when you're watching this, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.